Come on and gather around, there's a place you gotta be, where movie shows and games light up your fantasy. Slabs behind the mic, he's gotta find himself free.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Slav's Free Talk Podcast. That's right, we're back with another grand episode here. We're going to be talking about Captain America Brave New World. Is it really going to be all that bad? And what's going to constitute it being bad? I think there's a lot hanging on this movie for the MCU, more so than I think a lot of people realize. So we're going to talk about that. That's going to be the main topic. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about a few rumors and news topics within the Star Wars realm, within the MCU, as well as the DCU. So let's dive in to all things pop culture. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Who do we got here today? We got Hope for Life in here. We got just a guy on YouTube. We got Otito. Otito says, making a bill to break even is crazy business. I think you're talking about Captain America there. Derpy Entertainment, my glorious king. Xander Wild, haven't seen you for a while. Where you been, man? Welcome back. Haven't seen you for a few weeks. Welcome back. Maybe just a week. I don't know. It's been a while, but welcome back. Let's see. All right. It's interesting. Just a guy. See, you did a super chat there, but it's about Captain America. So we'll save that for Captain America. But thank you for the super chat. We'll get to that in a moment. I do have a poll up right now, so I encourage you to jump to that poll. It's do you think Captain America Brave New World will be successful? Go ahead and answer. We will look at the results when we get into the main topic. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about, obviously, is what happened today in the country of the United States. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to talk politics here. I know you guys wouldn't like that. The first thing we're going to talk about is Star Wars. This is a really interesting thing that's popped up here. Now bear with me, everyone. Bear with me here, because it was breaking news from, I guess it was Christian Harloff. Now, I don't know how many of you know. If you're in the pop culture realm with podcasts and YouTube, I'm sure you know or heard of Christian Harloff. He's a comedian, but he also does pop culture commentary. He has his own show, The Christian Harloff Show. He did a Joe Schmoes, which was kind of like a trivia show. He then was part of the Collider team for a while. He then did a show called The Big Thing. Now it's just the Christian Harloff Show. So he's been around the block for quite some time, for a number of years with pop culture. But he also is a huge Star Wars fan. He did a show called The Jedi Council. Then he did the The Sith Council, I think. He's been around for a while, but he apparently has some kind of insider information. I wouldn't call him a scooper. He's kind of on the same level of what's his face that hangs around Jeff Snyder all the time. But he's sometimes puts out some information that some people don't always have. And recently, just today, he says Natalie Portman could return as Padme Amidala in Ahsoka Season 2. Now, what's interesting about that is, well, we know Natalie Portman, Padme Amidala, died, spoilers, in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Now, that doesn't mean anything, because we saw Hayden Christensen return in not just Ahsoka Season 1, but also in the Obi-Wan series in a flashback. It's very well possible. It's possible that we can see this happen. We could see Padme show up in some kind of flashback, because there was a flashback in Ahsoka in a way. So it could happen. And people then started freaking out about this. Like, why? Why would you do this? The only way this can happen is flashbacks. Why would you do this? Could she be in the world between worlds? Why is this happening? The sky is falling. People were freaking out. I, on the other hand, am sitting back like, okay, first off, Skeleton Crew, which just came out last week, was really good. And I'm not saying that, hey, that fixes all the issues with Star Wars, specifically after the atrocity that was The Acolyte. But after something that was really good like Skeleton Crew, I can sit back and say, okay, let's see how this plays out. And that's kind of how I looked at it. I'm like, okay, they're going to bring Padme Amidala back. Well, let's see how it plays out. Because honestly, you bring in a classy actor like Natalie Portman, somebody who is a very great actor like Natalie Portman. As long as the story works, it's not going to hurt anything. So I was kind of like, huh, this is kind of cool. And the report was Dave Filoni has been pushing for her to return and a deal was close. But just a few hours later, from Star Wars Newsnet, update: Natalie Portman not in negotiations for Ahsoka Season 2. Now, if we take a further look at Star Wars Newsnet, a source told Star Wars Newsnet that the rumor shared below is not accurate. We don't have any details to add, but as of today, Natalie Portman is not in negotiations to return to Ahsoka Season 2. However, Ahsoka Season 2 could be bringing back another fan favorite. According to friend of the site, Christian Harloff, Natalie Portman may be close to signing to a deal return as Padme Amidala in the season. Now, that was the original rumor there. So, what is going on? What is going on? Honestly, I think one of two things. I think this information was not to get out there. And I think either one, they're trying to mitigate this getting out there, or two, they got the information somewhat wrong. And there could be something else that they're bringing Natalie Portman back for in some form or fashion. I just think it's really curious and very interesting that there were talks about Natalie Portman coming back to Star Wars. I want to say it was about 6 months ago, maybe even like a year ago. There was rumors swirling. There was talks about it. And then all of a sudden this comes up. I think something's brewing. It feels very similar to what happened with Ewan McGregor a number of years ago, where there was talks, there was discussions. People were like, yeah, we want this to happen. We want this to happen. And there was like, maybe if I get a phone call, maybe if this happens, sure, if it happens, blah, 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 whatever. And then boom, it happened. And everyone's like, hey, of course it happened. I kind of feel like maybe that's what's going on here with Natalie Portman. I kind of feel like it's going to happen. It's probably going to happen. Maybe it's not in Ahsoka. Maybe it's in something else, or maybe it is Ahsoka. Who knows? Regardless, I think people need to calm down and chill out, and let's just see what happens at this point in time. I'm not mad about it. Like, I enjoyed the first season of Ahsoka. I know a lot of other people didn't. I'm not saying it's the best Star Wars that we've gotten. It's definitely not, but I enjoyed it for the most part, and let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens. Look, you all know my stance on Star Wars for the most part, specifically modern day Star Wars. It is not good, but there have been a few glimpses of decent, we'll say decent, over the last few years. Ahsoka, I feel, is one of those glimpses of it being decent, and Skeleton Crew and Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2. So since we've had a few moments of good, decent stuff, why not? Let's give them a chance. Let's see what happens. That's all I have to say. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to think. Let's see what you guys are saying over here. All right. Jalen's here. What's up? What's up, Slav? Jalen says, hit that like button, everyone. Absolutely. Hey, make sure you vote on the poll for the main topic of today. Xander says, but I'm not going to speak further about my... Oh, wait. Sorry. You go. I've been dealing with my mental health and with work mostly, but I'm back. I'm not going to speak further about my mental health on here because this is supposed to be a fandom group. So absolutely, I respect that, Xander. Welcome back. I hope you are doing well, though. Jalen says, oh no, please no Star Wars news. I already have less hope with the franchise, the fandom, and just the universe itself. So please don't give me hope. Crying inside. Oh, man. Otito, speaking of Star Wars, heard the final episode of Skeleton Crew fell off, causing its entire quality to go down. I wouldn't say it fell off. It definitely wasn't the strongest episode of the series, but it was one of those finales that it leaves you wanting more, but it doesn't leave you in a sense of like, wow, I'm fulfilled. but it also doesn't leave you with like a cliffhanger, like, yeah, I can't wait for more. It kind of just ended, and you're just kind of like, man, I kind of want more, but like, yeah, I guess, yeah, it ended. Like it was decent. It was a good ending. Like I everything got wrapped up from the season. Like everything was wrapped up pretty well. But it was like to a point where I was kind of like, it could have been done better, and things could have been tied up with a bow just a little bit more. Um, but yeah, I guess it wasn't terrible. Like I said, the series, the season as a whole, the series or season, who knows if it's going to get a second season or not, um, was enjoyable. It really was. 100% made for kids. There's no denying that, but it was enjoyable. So the Watcher says, I'd love to see Portman Padme again, as we all would. Xander says, anyway, while I had my absence prolonged, has Triton never showed up at all? I have not seen Triton here for a while either. Manos Time, hey Slav, long time no see. Yeah, we haven't seen you for a while, Manos, either. Probably a week or two, huh? What's going on? The Watcher says, some people may disagree, that's fine, but me personally, as a lifelong Star Wars fan, tie only. Not sure I follow tie. Tito, wow, now that cornball hasn't been around. Oh, you're talking about Hope for Life, however long you were gone for. Okay, you guys are talking with each other. Okay. Manos Time, I feel like it's weird that Star Wars that has a limited potential feels so limited. It's like they love to hold back and not innovate. That's been one of my biggest complaints about Star Wars under the Disney era, is they don't innovate like they used to. They don't push the bar. They don't try, like, sure, the volume, all of that stuff, like technologically, that's been my big issues. They don't really push technologically, and I hope they do again. I do. I hope they do again. All right. Otito says, it's wrong that I fell asleep for Andor other than having a darker tone. I didn't understand the hype, although, of course, I slept through it, so probably explains it. I don't get the hype for Andor either. It was a decent show. It was an okay show. Again, I say this all the time. I am the type of person, I love and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I love the lightsabers and the Jedi. That's my Star Wars. I love that. And I'm not sitting here poo-pooing on anybody who likes the other stuff and doesn't want that all the time. That's fine. Don't get me wrong. I loved Rogue One. I really enjoyed that movie. And even if they didn't have the Darth Vader scene at the end, I still would have really enjoyed that movie. But for a show, I want more action. I want more excitement, and Andor just didn't give that to me. And even if there weren't any Jedi, I would have liked more action and excitement. It just didn't have it. That's all. All right. Moving on to the next topic of the day. From that Park Place, Marvel rumor suggests Hugh Jackman will stay as Wolverine in the MCU for another 10 years. What? Come on. Really? Rumors are currently swirling that Hugh Jackman will stay as Wolverine in the MCU for another decade. However, this rumor that WDW Pro and That Park Place have been reporting for almost 3 years. Hugh Jackman's return as Wolverine in Deadpool and Wolverine sent shockwaves through Hollywood, proving once again that some roles are just too iconic to retire. The film Marvel Studios' first R-rated blockbuster shattered expectations by grossing over $1.3 billion at the global box office. While Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool deserves credit, it was Jackman's take on the beloved X-Man that truly ignited fan interest. Now, rumors suggest that Jackman may wield Logan's claws for another decade, and fans are buzzing. This coming from insider My Time to Shine Hello recently reported that the Australian actor isn't ready to hang up his adamantium claws anytime soon. The scooper claims Jackman has plans to continue as Wolverine for at least 10 more years, a timeline that could cement him as the longest tenured superhero actor in Hollywood history. Interestingly, the rumor of Jackman's multi-year deal with Marvel is not new. Hollywood scooper WDW Pro of That Park Place has been citing inside Hollywood sources as far back as 2022, claiming that Jackman had committed to a major role in the MCU's future. All of this aligns with reports that Marvel Studios is exploring a Deadpool and Wolverine trilogy following the first film's record-breaking success. Jackman, who's 56, continues to defy expectations, looking and performing as if he's a decade younger. His enthusiasm for joining the MCU seems boundless, with whispers of projects like Hulk vs. Wolverine and possible appearances in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. These tantalizing prospects could bring in billions more at the box office, while allowing Jackman to put his definitive stamp on Wolverine as the MCU introduces more mutant characters. Okay. I've said this many, many, many times. They need to move on from him. Look, Hugh Jackman was great as Wolverine. For as long as he's been Wolverine, he's been great. And Deadpool and Wolverine was a fun movie. It was exciting. It was great to see the two of them together on screen. To get Hugh Jackman in the yellow and blue costume was fantastic. And honestly, I wouldn't mind one more movie to see him alongside the Avengers, alongside something in that form, that capacity in some way. I would be perfectly happy with that. But here's the thing. He's 56 years old. And I know people are going to sit there and say, well, there's stunt doubles, there's this, there's that. And I get it. I understand that. Okay. But here's the thing. You need to get a younger cast. You need to, first off, I want to see a new portrayal. I'm the kind of person, I'm sorry, I don't want to see the same person playing the same role over and over. Maybe it's because I grew up watching James Bonds constantly when I was growing up. Maybe this is where it's coming from. Now, obviously, I didn't watch them when they were first coming out. I'm not that old. But I was a kid and I loved the James Bond series. So I would watch them on like Turner Classic Movies, and I would rent them from video stores, and I would watch them all. And, I would see Sean Connery, Timothy Dalton, Roger Moore, and Pierce Brosnan. And I would see the different Bonds, and I would see the different interpretations, and I would appreciate each interpretation in a different way. And I would see like, hey, this is my favorite one because of this, or I love this movie because of this interpretation, but I liked them all for certain reasons. And while I've really enjoyed what Hugh Jackman has done as Wolverine, and I think that, hey, he has cemented himself as like, okay, he is the pinnacle. Like this is, if we ever get another Wolverine, another actor to play Logan, absolutely, this is the bar that's set. But I think we need to see a different interpretation. And he's 56, guys. Like, there's only so much that you can do with a character at this point in time. He's had so much story in the last 25 years when it comes to Jean Grey, when it comes to the Weapon X program, when it comes to him and everything else, him and Deadpool now. There's so much story that he's had that there's not much more to explore with him. I want to go back. I want to get a new actor because I want to re-explore those types of things in a new way. And I want to see a story where, you know what, Logan and Jean Grey end up together for a while. And Scott Summers is the one that's jealous. I want to see a story where Wolverine and Weapon X, we see him more used as Weapon X before he becomes an X. Like, I want to see things taken in a different direction, possibly, than what we saw here. And we're just not going to get it. If we continue down this route with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, we're not going to get these new and different stories. We're just going to keep these old stories that have just been there for 25 years. And to me, that's unfair. To me, it's like, man, we could explore so much more with this character, but we're being held back because we're sticking with Hugh Jackman, a 56-year-old, for another 10 years. He's going to be 66. If they truly hold him on for 10 years, he'll be 66 when all is said and done. Now, granted, let's say he signed this deal 2 years ago when they were filming Deadpool and Wolverine, so he'll be 64, but still 64 when all is said and done. That is insane. That's 100% insane. I don't want a 64-year-old Wolverine running around my screen with the Avengers, with Deadpool. I'm sorry, I just don't. There's going to come a time when Ryan Reynolds isn't going to be able to play Deadpool anymore, and we're going to need another Deadpool maybe. Like, that's fine. Like, I understand that. Like, do it. Like, recast. Now's the perfect time. Like, why not? I just don't get it. Like, this idea that you have to have the same actor play for 30 freaking years. Like, no, you don't. Like, we just went through it. And I know it's a different scenario with Chadwick Boseman, but, we had this whole thing with Chadwick where he really cemented Black Panther, T'Challa, and it was like, this is a great character, and then he sadly passed away. And instead of recasting him, they just did away with his character. They killed off his character, and it's like, no, just recast him. The character is what is important. The character, honor his memory by carrying on the character. And it same thing kind of goes in this regard. It's like Hugh Jackman helped solidify Wolverine as one of the most important comic book characters in live action ever. So instead of just beating a dead horse, let's solidify him and keeping him up. Like, hey, he was a great character, but we got to move on. I don't know. To me, this is just wild. I think it is a terrible, terrible idea. Maybe this isn't the popular opinion, but I think it is a terrible, terrible idea. Let me know your thoughts, though, in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to think. All right, what do you guys have to say over here? Because I know some of you are probably not agreeing with me at all. Xander goes, rumors, yada, yada, yada. More things to tie up amongst fan bases. I'm just so fucking sick of rumors, and it sucks so much. Jalen says, we need new actors. We need to focus on new characters. Yes. Manos time. It feels like Marvel nowadays are focused on big stars and refuse to take risks like they did before. Wouldn't surprise if Ryan Gosling is Ghost Rider. That'd be interesting. Jalen also says, no way in hell that Jackman stays for 10 years. Like the F. Manos time. I love Hugh, but this just feels weird and not the best idea, in my opinion. Rather, they recast. Yeah, exactly. Otito, I'm starting to see a pattern here. Deadpool and Wolverine, Doomsday, Secret Wars, Mutant Saga with Hugh Jackman back. Marvel seems to be focusing on money and nostalgia over actual story because they can't make story. They're lost right now. I've been saying this. They don't know what they're doing right now. They have no idea. Hope for life. Hope Hugh Jackman is Wolverine forever and never retires. Even if he just has to be old man Logan, I feel like he's the only one who can play Wolverine and should play Wolverine. No one else compares. Come on, man. How do you know? Until you see somebody new, until you see somebody different, you don't know, and we're never going to know. Jalen says, hell, we can't even be all that hype about freaking Sam's Captain America. The problem with that is the writing and the direction and the mishandling the character. We should be okay with it, but the Watcher says Jackman can do another 10 years. Come on, I just saw the man straight up tackle an SUV and behind the scenes Deadpool Wolverine. Yeah. The Watcher says Sam as Cap never worked in the comics. Here's the thing. Sam Wilson as Captain America could have worked, but they did it too quickly. I kind of understand why they did it, because they wanted to have Captain America the one passing the shield. But even when he passed the shield, they then did a whole show on him not accepting it. And then it really wasn't him passing the shield. It was kind of bestowed to him in a different way. Anyways, I really feel they should have done it in a different way, where it was kind of like with Cap gone, it was down to Bucky and Sam. And I think Bucky should have just picked up the mantle. Or it was kind of bestowed to Bucky in maybe a way, but he kind of was reluctant about it, almost like it was in the comics, where Bucky was like reluctant to do it, but he did it anyways. But he had this trauma, and everybody was kind of against him in a way. And after, a short amount of time of doing it, Sam Wilson stepped up to the plate, and with their friendship that was building between Bucky and Sam. Now, this didn't happen in comics, but in the MCU, you have their relationship building, and he kind of comes up to him and he's like, look, man, we need a Captain America. You're struggling. I get it. I'll take over. And like, have it work like that in a way. And obviously better writing than what I just did, but you have it like that, where you have a progression of Sam actually stepping up to the plate like that. And you just never got that in the movies or in the TV show. Well, and again, I actually enjoyed the TV show. We're going to talk about Captain America in a little bit, though. Xander says there's a Snyderverse cultist and fan page on Instagram that posted video proof that James Gunn is, I don't know. Okay. Jalen, we're not talking about that. I don't talk about the whole James Gunn pedophile stuff, because it's stupid. Jalen Harris, Marvel's biggest mistake in phase 4 and 5 was not putting a focus on the new characters and good. complaining in engaging ways. No, you're exactly right. He never put them in good engaging ways at all. Like there was just nothing. I mean, think about this. Talking about Sam Wilson, that show was what, 4 years ago now? 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and we haven't seen him since. Like that's wild. It's crazy. Shang-Chi came out in what, 2021, and we haven't seen him since. Like, come on. The Watcher. He can do it. He's going to be main MCU 616199999 Wolvie. He's going to be essentially Marvel's Elseworld films, which the MCU desperately needs more of, like a Tobey Spider-Man 4 and Andrew Amazing Spider-Man 3. No, they don't need an Amazing Spider-Man 3. Man, it was time. I don't know if you've seen this, but they want Sadie Sink as Jean. If Hugh becomes MCU Wolverine, that makes you feel weird. That's another thing. You're right. Yeah, I did see the Sadie Sink thing as rumor. Yeah, that wouldn't work. That would not work. The Watcher, in my opinion, keep the actors who everyone loves for as long as they can do it, and then recast other people. I don't know. Well, let's see. I get the comics. Jalen says, I get the comics never worked for him, but it's movies. We can make past see improve the characters. How new role? Yeah. What else do we got here? Let's see. Tito, I'm starting to think Kevin Feige is a tad overrated. Granted, he helmed the MCU, but let's not forget around half the movies are actually good and only praised for the money generated. I won't say he's overrated, but I mean, the last 6 years have been rough. 5 years have been rough. We'll definitely go with that. Finally, Trayvon says, "How's it going?" Trayvon says, "I'd like a new face as Wolverine. Hugh Jackman has been attached to Wolverine longer than I've been alive." That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, moving on to the next topic here. Into the DC realm we go. Let's go into the DC realm. This one's actually really cool news. James Gunn is currently pre-writing his next DC project. That's right. According to James Gunn, he says, "The bulk of my time is dealing with post-production on Superman and Peacemaker, but I'm also spending a fair amount of time pre-writing my next DC Studios project." So what could it be, everybody? What could be? Now, we talked about this a couple weeks ago on the Watchtower. We were like, what could be his next project? I think a lot of people were speculating that could be The Authority. I think I was saying that it's going to be a Batman Superman team up. I still think that's what it's going to be. Now, here's a crazy thing. Now, I heard from a couple people, whether accurate or not, that they're already pushing Gunn to get Superman 2 ready. That's apparently something that's out there. Again, whether accurate or not, couldn't tell you. I'm hoping that this, whatever he's working on, is either Superman 2 or it's something to introduce Batman. That's what I'm hoping. I don't think it's going to be Brave and the Bold anymore. I don't. After looking and seeing what's going on with Batman right now, I've come to the conclusion that they're not going to put Brave and the Bold out until after Matt Reeves' The Batman 2. So at the earliest, 2028, I guess, is when it would be, right? 2027, 2028. When's Batman 2 come out now? I don't even remember. It keeps getting pushed back whenever it comes out. So for me, my thought is this. The Authority, sure. Now, there's that rumor out there that it could be turned into an animated show. I think that's actually going to be accurate. I think that is going to be what happens with it. And it makes sense. So let's say The Authority, that it's not The Authority. And another thing that I want to think about as well. Look at all the projects that we know about right now. We don't have any other big names. We got Superman, we got Supergirl. Even Supergirl's not really a big name. Like, she's a big name that she's known, but she's not really a big character. Lanterns, sure, we can kind of, like, if you put them on a tier, like, you got your top tier, secondary tier, third tier. I would probably, Superman's top tier. I would say Supergirl's probably third tier. Lanterns would probably be second tier characters. So we don't have another top tier character. I'm thinking whatever he's writing is probably going to be a top tier character because we don't have another top tier character. And that's how I'm looking at it. So I'm thinking it's going to be some kind of top tier character. Is it going to be Wonder Woman? Probably not. I think it's going to be something like Superman 2. It's going to be something to introduce Batman. Could it be World's Finest? Could it be a Superman Batman team up of any sort? Whether it's World's Finest or not, whatever. I don't know. That's what I want it to be, but is that what it's going to be? I think that makes the most sense. But I don't know. I think it's interesting. Like I said, when you take a look, because then you got Clayface, and like Clayface, that's a villain. So I would probably put that on like a third or fourth tier. You got Sergeant Rock, that's like down here, like F tier, like way down at the bottom, like 45th tier. You got what else is there? You got Deathstroke and Bane. That's probably like, towards the middle of the pack. That's not too high up there. So you're looking at all these projects that we're hearing about, but nothing is like that top tier. Like, that is a movie that people want to know, want to see. And that's what we have to. That's what James Gunn has to do right now. There's nothing that people want to. They hear and they know we got to see that. And that is what I think they need to look at. And I see Hope for Life in the comments says something like Martian Manhunter. While that would be cool, is Martian Manhunter a name that if you went to your neighbor's sister's grandmother's aunt and say, hey, there's a Martian Manhunter movie coming out, they're going to be like, oh, cool. No. But if you go, hey, there's a Batman and Superman movie coming out, or there's a Batman movie coming out, or there's a Wonder Woman movie coming out, that type of stuff is like, oh, awesome. I know what that is. That's what you kind of got to think of. And I think that's the kind of movie he's going to be writing. And that's just my way of thinking about this. Because there's just, besides Superman, what other big time character is in the works? Nothing. And they need to get another big time character in the works for a movie to come out. And if they don't have one in the works right now, which they could, and we just don't know about it, but if they don't have one, that concerns me. That does concern me. Look, and you know how optimistic and excited I am for the DCU. But if you're saying Superman comes out in 2025, and between then and when Brave and the Bold comes out, there's no other big name heroes or characters, that's a little concerning. Again, Supergirl is like a second tier, third tier. You could probably put her in either one, second or third tier. But you need those top tier heroes. You need those top tier names to really draw people to the theater. So I don't know. That's what I think he's working on. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. All right. Let's see. What are you guys saying over here? Probably yelling at me, right? All right. Geez, you guys really went at it here. Hope for Life says he's probably pre-writing Brave and the Bold or The Authority. I don't know, man. Jalen says, I bet it's Creature Commando Season 2 TV-wise, but movie-wise, I think it might be The World's Finest. Trayvon says Sergeant Rock or The Authority. World's Finest is a huge possibility. Watcher says, you're talking to Mano S. I'm not going to do that. Tito, The Authority, Brave and the Bold, Metal Men, or Booster Gold. If a push for Superman 2 is true, then that's a huge sign of confidence, speaks volumes, in my opinion. Oops, there we go. That's what Trayvon says. Yeah, I mean that is huge. Exactly. So, hopefully that's true. Hopefully it's true. Man, it's time. When do you think other JL members will have other projects? Sure, we have Lantern, Supergirl, but where's the other members? My guess is after Superman, avoid risk, but who knows? Who knows? You're right. I don't know. I honestly, your guess is as good as mine. Tito says, isn't the Waller show written or has a script not been completed? Same with Sergeant Rock. We don't know. They haven't said. As James Gunn has said, nothing is technically greenlit until they're happy with the script. Xander, honestly, for people just to not see Superman for the stupid hate on the suit movie or very ridiculous controversy is what makes the other people not worth a damn to the DC fan base. Mic drop. Nice. Jalen, or wait, no. There we go. Watcher, 2027, the Batman 2. Personally believe there's a chance Gunn directs Batman DCU. If not, very likely we'll do Wonder Woman. I'm down for that. Huntress, Metalman, World's Finest, Animal Man. That's all weird. I didn't know most of that. There was rumor about Huntress not too long ago, but is the other stuff like a possibility? I don't know. Jalen, did you see Grace's Warner Brothers 2025 movie slate list and what's a risk or hit? Yeah, I saw that. It was stupid. She has Superman as the most significant risk while the dumbass Minecraft is a hit. Do you hate to hit? Do you hate her? But come on. So I can I didn't watch her video about it, but I can understand her saying that Superman is a risk. I get it. I can also understand her thinking that Minecraft could be a hit. I just don't think Minecraft's going to be a hit. I just don't think it's going to be. But hey, I mean, film is all subjective and everybody can have an opinion. Just because she's wrong, I mean, it is what it is, right? Let's see. Maybe it's nope. Trayvon says we should all take a shot of vodka whenever Grace Randolph says something stupid. Well, we would all be drunk pretty quickly. Ain't that the truth? Xander, I don't give a flying F about the controversy about James Gunn. What I care about is the DCU being successful and Superman being successful as well. And it will be. Don't worry. Xander says, yeah, Slav, I'm yelling at you. You're a faithful fan and you care about the other fans in your audience. Just messing with you. Okay. Where were you yelling at me? I don't know. Otito says, I'm just waiting to see Grodd and what he'll do in the new universe. Yeah, I think I can't wait. I can't wait to see someone like Grodd. That just so really interested to see how they pull him off. Really am interested. All right, moving on. Next topic. This is somewhat DC related, somewhat not. Only kind of DC related because of how this topic came about. So I don't know if you guys know this, but TikTok was shut down this past week. I don't know if any of you peruse TikTok at all, but TikTok was shut down for about like 14 hours in the United States just the other day. It was like Saturday night at like 8:39 p.m. and came back up at like 11 a.m. the next day. But people freak out. They're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We're going to lose our minds. Oh my gosh. So people were freaking out. I don't know if you guys know who Soups is. He is a quote unquote influencer on TikTok and social media, also known, his real name is Matt Ramos. And he posted on X, this will significantly affect the Superman box office. And he was talking about TikTok being kaput, gone, finite, because he believed that it was banned for good. Now, he wasn't wrong completely, because movie studios have really leaned into social media and influencers quite a bit over the last number of years. Specifically, someone like Matt Ramos, who has been at all the premieres, has been really talking up Marvel movies, DC movies, and movies galore, pulp culture in a huge way on his channel. And whether you enjoy his content or not, he's been used quite a bit. And whether you know who he is or not, I'm sure if you see him, you probably be like, oh, I know who that guy is. And he was actually invited to the trailer event for Superman back in December. Like, he's the kind of person that's invited and used at those types of things. So him saying something like this isn't far off. It isn't really off base. It was, and here's the thing: these studios have to then rethink their marketing when a tool like TikTok is taken away, because TikTok is seen by millions of people, viewed by millions of people every single day, specifically in America. So again, what Matt Ramos was saying here is not wrong. It would significantly affect Superman at the box office if the marketing team at Warner Brothers, at specifically DC Studios, did not course correct and find a way to market this show, or movie, I should say. Well, the real shift decided to, and I didn't even watch the video. I just saw this, and I actually saw him post another post on TikTok, on X, about this. And his video was new video: Superman will flop without TikTok, shills panic over social media ban. Okay. And he goes, panic, we're screwed, Matt Ramos, and this will significantly affect. So basically making fun of Matt Ramos and basically saying, oh, this is going to be an excuse. If Superman fails, they can say, oh, well, TikTok wasn't around to promote it, essentially. But here's the thing. First off, I don't think anybody was going to use that excuse. I don't even think Matt Ramos was even saying that Superman was going to fail without TikTok. He was basically saying that it's going to affect Superman's box office, because yes, it could, and it would, just as it's going to affect any film's box office, because of how much marketing has been utilized with TikTok. I'll tell you this: I have found so many things, whether it's movies, whether it's TV shows, whether it's music, whatever, I have found on TikTok that I've never heard of before. And I'm like, whoa, what is this? I found TV shows, the show Suits. I've heard of Suits, but I didn't know what it was. And then I saw things pop up on TikTok, and I was like, this kind of looks interesting. And then we watch it, and I got really into it. And it's stuff like that. You see things, just, whether it's marketing from the studio or it's just TikTokers, people just sharing clips of things that they like on TikTok. You see them, and it clicks something in your head, and you're like, man, I like this. I want to watch it. Or, man, this song sounds cool. I want to listen to the whole song. Or, hey, this is neat. That's what TikTok does. So, yes, it can affect a multitude of things when it comes to promoting and marketing a movie. Yes, it could affect Superman, just as it could affect Captain America, Fantastic Four, Jurassic World, a plethora of films coming out this year. It could affect. So what Matt Ramos was saying here is not incorrect. But obviously you have this guy here who is anti-DCU, who is, all he wants is to see the DCU fail. All he wants to see is the DCU fail. So he wants to go and call it out and say, oh, look, this is bullshit. They're panicking because TikTok's gone and Superman's going to fail because of it. At least that's going to be their excuse. Now, again, I did not watch this video. If any of you watch this video, please tell me if I'm accurate on what I think he said in this video, because I'm pretty sure that's what this video was about. But it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that people literally are going to sit there and call out, look, whether you like Matt Ramos or not, he's not wrong. And to sit there and then sit and call him out for this, and this is the problem with people. And I sit there and constantly say, I call out the misinformation. I did it the other day. With another YouTuber, another person. I sat there and I called out the misinformation that they put out there about DC and about James Gunn and about this. And I'm pointing out the misinformation here, because this isn't just about Superman. Matt Ramos put this out there, talked about Superman because that's what he's most excited about. But it's about the box office. It's about film in general, is what he was talking about. But Real Shift had to twist it and make it about Superman and making it out like, oh, this is what's going to fail. And it's not. Luckily, TikTok's back. So we won't have to worry about it for maybe another 90 days. We'll see what happens if President Trump can get everything fixed and work with ByteDance and maybe get a partner for them to team up with, and maybe find somebody to have joint partnership in America. I think that's what they're trying to do, is have a partnership in America. So it's a joint venture and they don't have to sell it off completely. I'm not 100% sure what the plan is, but President Trump seems to have an idea of what he wants to do, and hopefully it gets rectified within the next 90 days so it doesn't get banned and we don't have to worry about this. But it's a real interesting thing. Real interesting thing. And again, like I said, yes, there's other outlets. There's YouTube Shorts, there's Instagram Reels, there's all this other stuff, but TikTok is the big one. It's the big one, and it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you think about all this. I'd love to hear what you have to say. All right. We're going to go through comments real quick here so we can get to the main topic. Jalen goes, oh God, not Real Shit. Oh, sorry, I mean Real Shift. God, I hate that channel. Oh, man. Matt Ramos, Man at Us Time says, Matt Ramos forgets that every social media platform does this, not just TikTok. YouTube has done this for years. Removing TikTok, yes, might affect it, but not that much. Believe it or not, it would affect it more than you think. Marketing departments at studios would have to majorly adjust. They would. It's especially the fact that Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts exist. Again, they'll have to majorly change. Douglas Fryer, how's it going? Xander Wild says, anti-DCU is a cowardly way of saying that you're a Snyder. Wow, man. Otito says, Real Shift conveniently having a ZSJL poster behind it must be symbolic. Snyder parasite. Xander says, notice how Aaron Fisher is becoming more scared that the Superman movie is coming closer and closer. Aaron Fisher is blocking people who talk shit about Snyder, but yet he hates others blocking him. Douglas says, you ever seen Harsh Critics or CS Director YouTube channels? I've seen CS Director. Harsh Critics, maybe? I think I did see him. I don't know. Mano's Time had this thought the other day. What does comic accuracy mean if even in the comics they change the accuracy all the time? There's so many takes on the same character, it's crazy. Very true. All right. Watcher says, I can't stand that guy's channel, bro. He says he's going to be honest. He is Snyder writer. All right, let's move to the main topic so we can get out of here for the day. So Captain America Brave New World. Well, wasn't it called Serpent Society, or was it called New World Order? Which one was it? I don't know. It's gone through so many name changes now, but no, it is called Brave New World. That's right. It's crazy. Actually, I wanted to pull something up here. Let me see something while we're talking. So this movie comes out in, what is it? 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. So this is really, really interesting. So I want to look up showtimes in my area for this movie. So let me just pull this up here so you guys can see. Morgantown, West Virginia is the closest theater to me. Look, those are the closest theaters to me. That's wild. 18, 19, almost 20 miles away from me. That's ridiculous. All right. So we're going to go to February 13th for the first showing. So we'll go for the first showing at 2:00. 1 seat is bought. 1 seat. There's 1 seat bought. Now let's go to like a typical, like we'll say like 6:00, maybe 6:00 show. Let's look at the 6:00 show. Oh, okay. All right. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 seats are sold so far. Now tickets went on sale for this last week, mind you. Okay. Let's look at the 9 p.m. show. Oh, 2 seats are sold. Okay. So you can see in my area, people are just, whoo, they are lining up to go see Brave New World. Man, they are excited as ever to go see this new Captain America movie. This movie is not going to do well. It's not. So Captain America Brave New World eyes 86 million to 95 million opening over President's Day weekend box office early look. This coming from Deadline. This came out last Sunday. Less than 5 weeks until the first big opening of 2025, Brave New World, which is which hit tracking service quorum and is expected to do 86 million to 95 million over the first 3 days of the 4-day Valentine's Day President's Day weekend beginning February 14th. See, the Friday, Monday figures is also bound to be 100 million plus at this point in time. The projection takes into account the change-up in cast and Captain America franchise. So, because of the extra day, because President's Day, more people will be off, they're speculating that it's going to make between 86 and, let's face it, $100 million opening weekend. That is a pretty good opening weekend. I don't think it's going to hit that. And there's really nothing else coming out. What else is coming out? What actually? Let me just do this. Oh man, showtimes. Let's just do this. February 13th. We got Hard Eyes, Dogman. Oh, kids are gonna go see Dogman. Love Hurts. Harry Potter is gonna be out. Really? That's a Fathom event. Becoming Led Zeppelin. So there's really not much out. Yeah. So that might be its benefit there, that it's going to do well there. So let's say the first weekend it does well. Okay. What's coming out the following weekend? It's got nothing here on here. So, looking at that first weekend, I can probably say 100 million is doable. Now, let's take a look at something else here. This coming from CBR, the ticket pre-sales trail a recent MCU flop. So Captain America may be in a world of trouble if early indicators stay true. The penultimate Phase 5 Marvel Cinematic Universe film ticket pre-sales trail a recent infamous Marvel flop, providing potential warning signs for its box office run. According to the analyst Luis Fernando, Brave New World's pre-sales, which went available last Friday, are nearly 1.5 times better than Captain Marvel's sequel, The Marvels. However, the fourth installment in the Captain America film series early returns are on par with the Eternals, nowhere near the maligned Phase 5 opener, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So Eternals finished with roughly 400 million worldwide. Ant-Man and the Wasp made just under 500 with 476 million worldwide. So with its current tracking, it's looking like it's going to be around Eternals, Ant-Man money. That's not good, guys. Now, there is a poll right now. Go vote if you think Captain America is going to be successful. Love to see what you think. For sure. Let me know if you think it's going to be successful. Right now, the poll is at 50-50 after 24 votes. Interesting. Here's the thing. All right. Here is the thing. Multiple rewrites have happened with this movie, which is never a good sign. We've talked about this. Multiple rewrites. Reshoots galore. And nobody really cares about this movie. Nobody really cares about this movie. You know why nobody really cares about this movie? Is despite the fact that I enjoyed the show to a large degree, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was not all that beloved. Nobody really enjoyed it. And it came out. When did that show come out? When did the Falcon and the Winter Soldier come out? I just want to know for sure. Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out. When did it come out? Yeah, we'll go to Wikipedia. That'll tell me. Won't it? Maybe. 2021. March of 2021. So we're talking about 4 years ago that show came out. People don't talk about it. It's not something that people talk about at all. People don't care. People aren't excited about Sam Wilson being Captain America. Here's the thing. Steve Rogers is, and people will get mad at this. Steve Rogers is Captain America. Steve Rogers is Captain America as Captain America is Steve Rogers. That's how it is. I'm not one of these people, though, that sit there and say that Captain America can only be Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers can only be Captain America. I've always said, like, look, if a character dies, if a character passes on the mantle, if the character is no longer being that character or that hero anymore, they can absolutely pass the mantle down. But nobody has bought into Sam Wilson being Captain America yet. So there's no excitement for this movie. There's nobody sitting here saying, man, I can't wait to see Sam Wilson as Captain America. There's no hype behind it. All right, Red Hulk. We're getting Red Hulk, played by Harrison Ford. First off, Harrison Ford is one of my favorite actors of all time, if not my favorite actor of all time. But he's old. He's really old, all right? And I don't buy it. I don't buy it. The trailers haven't helped. Now, we've gotten, 4 trailers maybe? But every single trailer has been the same 30, 40 seconds. Literally just re-edited in different ways. They haven't shown us anything new with these trailers. Maybe adding a different 10 seconds every trailer. Just an additional 10 seconds each trailer. Now, some people might say, oh, that's great. I don't like to see a lot of stuff in trailers. But to me, I'm like, I want to see more, because that first trailer did nothing for me. Second trailer did nothing for me. Third trailer did nothing for me. Give me more, because you have to sell people in this movie, and nobody's excited about it. Nobody. You see the ticket sales, it's not tracking well. They need to sell this movie better. Add to it then, with those trailers, you see the VFX, the special effects, which look horrendous. Horrendous. They look terrible. And look, I know that's not a deal breaker for everybody. I get it. But it is to some people. And I'm one of those people that I struggle with terrible VFX. Here's the thing. If the story is bad, if the movie is not interesting, and the VFX are bad, I'm completely out of the movie. Completely out of it. Now, if the VFX are good and the story is rough, not great, I can maybe muscle through and get through it. But if you don't have any one of those things going for you, that's not a good sign. And the VFX do not look good in this movie, according to the trailer. But it's just a trailer, Slav. What are you talking about? They're going to fix that up. Nah, Marvel's track record isn't typically the VFX gets fixed after the trailer. Point in case, Thor. Point in case, Ant-Man Quantumania. You take a look back, you see they have a habit of putting out unfinished work in the trailers and then unfinished work in the theater. It's what they do. And I won't say it's unfinished work, because it's what gets released at home as well. It just doesn't look good. And it's pathetic. And then the one thing I was looking at, I think it was the latest trailer. They really emphasized this new suit of armor that Sam Wilson has. I won't say a suit of armor, but this mask that he's wearing. They're really focusing on this mask that Sam Wilson has. Why is everybody turning into Iron Man? Literally everybody's Iron Man in the MCU now. Everybody. Enough is enough. Everybody has nanotechnology and everybody's Iron Man now. And I'm over it. It's stupid. Enough is enough. If I wanted to watch Iron Man, then just make Iron Man suits constantly. At this point, why isn't he just wearing an Iron Man suit? Honestly. If they go that far, if they go far enough to make him a mask that's like Iron Man, just make the whole suit Iron Man. Why not? It's just, that's a little quarrel I have with bad storytelling. But it's getting, you see, this movie isn't tracking well. This movie is not going to do well. It's just not. It's really, really interesting to see. And I said this, that this movie failing, if this movie struggles, if it doesn't do well, it's going to set a bad precedent for Marvel for the rest of the year. It's going to be interesting to see how this happens, or what happens, I should say. What happens with Thunderbolts? What happens with Fantastic Four? It's going to be interesting, because that goodwill that they got with Deadpool and Wolverine isn't going to carry them to Thunderbolts, isn't going to carry them to Fantastic Four. You know, them canceling Blade, that hurt them. Them not following through on what they've promised hurts them. Them saying that Daredevil was going to be 18 episodes, and then they go back and they only give us, 8, 10 episodes, whatever it is the first season is going to be. You know, that people don't like that. Like, there's so much that you sit there and you take a look and you say, man, they're not following through with stuff. Now, Daredevil could be great, and that could help. But, you know, Marvel, they dropped the ball with this, they dropped the ball with that. And the brand recognition, the brand name isn't holding up. It isn't looked as highly as it was 10 years ago. And that's worrisome for them. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to think. Where do you think the movie will stand? Do you think it will be successful? The poll here says 48% yes after 25 votes, 52% saying no. Very interesting. There is a super chat I want to find. Just a guy on YouTube says, what do you think of the latest Captain America trailer? Thank you again, $1.99 super chat. Honestly, I thought it was terrible. I did. I thought it was terrible. I thought it was. Look, it's one of those things that, like I said, they aren't showing anything new. I think we've seen the same 6 to 8 seconds worth of Harrison Ford as Red Hulk. The VFX look terrible, and the rest of the trailers have all been the same with with Sam as Captain America. And then Harrison Ford going, you're not the real Captain America. You know, something like that. And then Sam Wilson doing stuff, running after somebody, and then he's flying around. And then in this newest one, they showed him with his helmet on a whole bunch. And then that was it. It's like, come on, guys. Like, give us something more. Give us something new. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right. So what do you guys have to say? All right. We're going to speed through some comments here so we can get out of here for the night. The Watcher says, only private school kids are going to Dogman. My one son loved the Dogman series. Tito, I'm Slav. I failed to see the point debating Cap 4 estimated 370 million, probably higher and closer to 500 million. So no, it won't be a success unless it makes over $1 billion, which won't happen. Precisely. You're right. It won't. The amount of money it costs to make, it's not going to make it. Xander says, I'm coming severely close by tagging Aaron in a post on Twitter to call him out on how and who he really is, but yet I don't want to be that low and petty-minded, but I can be if I want to be. I don't know where that's coming from, Xander, but look, man, I always say this. Don't call people out for their opinions. Let them be wrong. Let them say what they want to say. If they're being mean or degrading you or anything like that, you can handle that as you want. If you want to call them out on their misinformation, on their lies, absolutely. But if it's their opinion, let them be wrong. Let them have their own stupid opinions. But yeah, if they're coming at you personally, if they're degrading you, handle that how you want. If they're lying or spreading misinformation, absolutely call them out for it. The Watcher. Actually, Falcon and Winter Soldier should have been when the switch Bucky into Cap. Missed opportunity. I agree. Chris Zostik says it will make 50 million opening prediction. That sounds more accurate, I think. But again, there's not much coming out that weekend, so I could see it making close to that 100 million. Trayvon, the only memorable thing about Falcon and the Winter Soldier is he's out of line, but he's right. Yeah, because everybody uses that in their videos. I do. I've put it in my videos. The Watcher. I'm not a big fan of other characters donning mantles of iconic characters. Um, and else for and Elseworlds or even for a temporary time, but not permanently. Only a few characters have pulled it off. I agree. Hope for Life. I didn't even finish Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I dropped off after I think it was episode 3 or possibly 4. Don't even remember any of the show though. The Watcher, Terry McGinnis being one that comes to mind, and Miles only if Peter is dead and didn't have a daughter or son. Makes sense. Xander says Marvel is becoming Timu. Man of his time. When you talk about VFX not being finished, a common complaint with the Superman trailer is that and the cinematography. How do you differentiate the Brave and the Bold trailer with that? I don't see the issues with the VFX in the Superman trailer. I've actually gone back and watched it, and there's a major difference. Like if you watch the Captain America trailer, like there is a scene when the Hulk like pushes or throws Captain America and he like puts his like wings up and he like hits a car. First off, the car is like 4 sizes too small to be a car, and he hits the car and it looks too small, and then the way it crunches, it looks like it's like a cardboard. Nothing looks right about it. Like if you watch that scene, it looks terrible, and then the backdrop looks really bad. The people that are complaining about Superman are complaining about more of the aesthetic and the look with the they've all become like visual artists in a way, and it's not visual effects so much. I don't see many problems. My one problem, I will admit, the one issue I actually see is something that nobody really says about the Superman trailer. And I don't know if I want to bring it up because then people might use it. But there is a moment in the trailer that I keep seeing and I can't not unsee it because it annoys the piss out of me now. So I'm not going to say because I don't want other people to say it, but there is a moment in the trailer and it's an adorable moment. And I hate that it's there and I hate that I keep seeing it and I wish I didn't see it. But maybe you guys know, I just say it's an adorable moment. And I just, I hate it. But yeah, there is a moment that's really bad VFX and I just wish it wasn't there. I'm going to skip that one, Watcher. I'm sorry. Hope for Life. Sad part is the Brave New World fails. That carries over a bit to the Thunderballs, I believe. Thunderbolts. Maybe. I mean, it will. If it fails, it does carry over to Thunderbolts. Absolutely. Let's see. I'll go this, Watcher. What MCU should do to keep going? 1, fully reboot. 2, take a break and do Elseworld films. 3, be more comic accurate. Embrace the street level and recast. I don't think they need to fully reboot. I don't think they need to take a break, but I do think they need to focus on street levels. Absolutely. I think that would be a good idea. I do. I think that'd be a great. All right, guys. I gotta get out of here. I'm tired. All right, guys. I want to remind you this Thursday, there's whoa, who's this guy? Dave, D1988 Ethan, just joined. What's the budget for Captain America Brave New World? Rumored to be between 400 and 500 million because of all the reshoots and redoing everything. And that's with marketing. So, yeah, it's not very good. As the Watcher says, budget is DOA. Jalen says it's crypto, isn't it? Not crypto in particular. Crypto, I think, looks good to a point. I'm not talking about the crypto collar, no. Anyways, this Thursday there will not be a Watchtower. I am going on a friend's podcast that day. He asked me like a month and a half ago to be on the show that day, so I told him I would be there. But I will share the link because I do think you guys would enjoy the show. You can stop over there. I haven't decided or figured out if I'm able to do a Watchtower this week. I got to find out what my schedule's like this week with the fam. So once I find out, I will let you all know if I can do a Watchtower any day this week. So I'll let you know. But no Watchtower this Thursday. Like I said, I'll be on a buddy's podcast. I will put the link out in my community once I get the link for it. But with all that said, guys, thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me today. We'll do it again next week, next Monday, 6:30 p.m. I hope to see you all there. Talking to all of you later.